G'day, it's Simon at South OC Cars and Coffee. No, James this morning's actually on the Gold Rush Rally, but we have got a ton of cars to look at. We have got some classics, we've got some exotics, an incredible Aston Martin, which is absolutely beautiful, and also an amazing old Triumph that we had here last week as well. Don't forget, if you're coming to South OC Cars and Coffee, please remember, no speeding, no revving, no burnouts. That includes on the streets of San Clemente and driving onto the freeway as well, just to keep the neighbours and the city happy. Well, let's go for a walk and check some stuff out. So my Camaro is keeping some pretty good company this morning. First of all, this beautiful Triumph was here last week, race car. I actually made this car of the week last week, but had audio challenges, so we're going to reshoot this again later on today as car of the week. Next to it, check this out. Beautiful, beautiful Aston Martin Superleggera. This car is magnificent. This is that era of James Bond Aston Martins. Look at that interior. It is just absolutely magnificent. These cars were truly beautiful. They look like nothing else of the era as well. They're just a classic timestamp of British motoring from that era. Next to it, AC Cobra. Now, of course, AC was the company that was supplying bodies to Shelby to build the Cobras in the US. And this is a beautiful example of one of these cars. The color is magnificent as well. I mean, effectively it was body and then they build their own chassis and put a V8 in it, but this thing is absolutely wonderful. Once again, looks very familiar. And then next to that, Diablo. It just keeps getting better and better and better as every week with all these amazing cars turning up. Got another club here this morning. This time it is a Subaru BRZ Scion FRS Toyota 86, basically the same car, a few differences came in this morning. We got a few ring-ins, of course, with this WRX that's in there, but most of all, these are all BRZs, etc. Great to see the clubs coming in. Remember, if you have a club and you want to come to South OC Cars and Coffee, if you contact us in advance, we just need a few details from you. You'll be able to bring the club in early, park together as we've done with these guys, and get a really great spot at the show. Wide body 458 Spider here, have a look at this thing. Ton of gold details, massive gold wheels on it. And then Lambo pulling in over this side as well. So many beautiful cars this morning. This carbon fibre on the back looks great, doesn't it?
I just gotta get through. Sometimes I feel like all is lost, but I know it's not true. I wanna put up all my walls cause I'm not in the mood, but then I cut myself off from the rest of the room. I know that time can heal it all if you're patient and soon it can all be worth it, all the searching.
Welcome to the guys from Clubhouse Auto Storage as sponsors of South OC Cars and Coffee. These guys offer excellent storage facilities, so if you've got a classic car, exotic car, something you want to store in a safe, secure place, and know that these guys are car guys looking after your car, make sure to give these guys a shout. So check them out. Here is their details on the sign. You can see there, they're in San Juan Capistrano, clubhouseautostorage.com. Make sure to check them out. Welcome on board as our newest sponsor. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call a sled, of course made famous from the movie with Sylvester Stallone, Cobra, this style of car. They've been around before that though, but check out the massive steel wheels on this thing, pipes out the side, low, and obviously this massive roof chop as well. The whole thing about these cars is they're not meant to be typically really neat, high detail show cars. You know, you can see this thing's got a few flaws, like somebody's built it themselves. But it's still a great looking car and it's getting a lot of attention here today as well. You know, one of the hardest things to do on a motor vehicle is to actually chop the roof. People don't understand. They think, oh yeah, we'll cut it here and we'll cut it here and we'll cut it here. We'll be able to lower it. The problem is when you chop the roof of a vehicle, as you bring the roof down, because of the angle of the windshield, the roof actually has to grow in size. Actually, that's the angle on the back as well. So typically what you'll see happen is they'll section the roof across almost in squares and then put sections in just to widen it and to lengthen it to the right size. It is a massive job to do properly, particularly if you're going to metal finish the whole lot. But the more you chop it, the more you got to add. So it makes it a challenging job. But interesting car, turning a lot of heads here this morning.
Thoughts pull you in, I miss the old you. We died with a purpose, all the energy around me felt nervous, scared I would pop out fast to the surface.
Check out this beautiful M3. Drove through before. Wonderful looking car. Have a look at it, so neat. Such a great looking car.
I'm mad at my piece of the net, they can never be me. Nice try, but they'll see I achieve everything while they stay salty.
Have a look at this beautiful, beautiful NSX. We've had this car here before. There is a ton of custom work done on this thing, right down to the mirrors. I was just hearing that the owner of this paid about $4,000 for those carbon fiber mirrors, but in Japan they're pulling upwards of $10,000. Beautiful wheels on this thing, magnificent Recaro seats, roof scoop on there, TVS supercharger underneath here. There's a ton of work being done underneath the hood as well. Amazing looking car, really nice carbon rear spoiler. These are a great looking car to start off with. This is really taking it to a whole new level. It's an incredible looking car. Look at the red stitching in the interior and the carbon fiber. It's funny, everything done to this has really brought this car up to date. It looks current right now.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing.
Tough looking Mustang pulls in earlier. Have a look at this, just sitting there. I was going to say under the hood, but there is no hood. This thing is absolutely amazing with what they've done underneath here. Fuel injection, some nice seats in there, roll cage. Because race car type of car. Very cool.
Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Yeah. There's no mercy in this world, just hunger-thirsty persons in different versions. Each new update, that shit worsens. Why? Pull back the curtain and you'll see the different vermin. We all have different burdens that all seem to cause disturbance. Yo, so do me a favor, don't treat me like a neighbor. Don't need the different flavors of your problems just to savor. I've got
Right, we got another club. Regulars here, come out here every few months. This is the Corvette Club, organised by a gentleman by the name of Bob, one of our regulars. Lovely gentleman. Great to see these guys once again. They reached out in advance, let us know they were coming, and we were able to bring them in early, give them a prime spot. Have a look at how many Corvettes are down through here. Very, very cool to have them.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
That's it, the end of the song. Next time you'll sing along. Trust me, there's
Nice looking resto modded 67 Camaro here. LS3, Corsair motor used in Corvette, and also the 5th gen Camaro. Beautiful looking wheels, Willwood brakes in there. Notice the other thing about this car too, see the windshield has been done in the same way as we do in modern cars. There's no chrome stripping around the outside. The windscreen's actually larger or oversized, and then you paint the edge of it black and it seals in with epoxy like they do in modern cars. Gives it a really clean look, gets rid of that chrome along the top, which you always have trouble refitting. So really nice to see. We know it's a 67 because it's got the side windows. Back window's been done the same as well. Makes the windows look a lot larger because you've got glass right out to the edges. Clean looking truck with a couple of JL audio subwoofers in there. Love the colour, looks really, really good.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up, it's time to look at not the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no.
Now I know all the Ford purists are going to cringe when they see what I'm about to show you. Continental, of course, Lincoln, part of the Ford family. Have a look under the hood. That's an LS3 transplant. Same motor that was used in the C6 Corvette and of course the 5th gen Camaro. So a little bit of GM in this car. But I tell you what, it's a good way to get power and decent fuel economy and reliability. So why not? And the other reason a lot of guys will go for that as opposed to Coyote, the Coyote motor of course is twin overhead cam, which means it's a lot physically bigger and sometimes difficult to shoehorn into narrower engine bays that still have traditional struts, etc. So interesting to see. I bet a lot of people don't pick that there today. Now I must admit, I didn't used to pay a lot of attention to 718 Caymans or Boxers until we bought one for Sarah a few months ago, and now I kind of notice them. Hers is the same colour, of course, shark blue, but hers is the regular Cayman. This GT4 RS, there's the GT4, then there's this thing, the RS. The RS is arguably one of the best handling track cars Porsche's ever made, almost to an extent overpowered. Look down in here. So look at this engine sitting in here. I believe it's the same engine they use in the GT3. Now, the main difference is in a car, a regular 718, there is a cover over this engine, and that is what divides it from the passenger and the driver. In this car, you can see there's a cover like you'd get when you lift the hood on most other cars, but there is no divider. There is no glass or anything like there is in most mid-engine cars. So as the driver and the passenger, you are sitting in that compartment with the motor. So it's a very loud, very exciting visual experience. Now, would you want one as a daily driver? Probably not. But if you want an incredible, great value for money car that handles probably just about better than anything else and goes like heck, arguably probably a little bit overpowered for the chassis, it's an amazing car and it looks so good too, huh? Here in Orange County we get a ton of G-Wagons, but never one that looks like this. We get everything from the 6-wheel drive Brabus through to you name it. This is interesting. Now of course the G-Wagon is a little bit like the Land Rover Defender. There have been versions of it for generations and aesthetically it hasn't changed a great deal. Now the reason Land Rover did that was they sold so many into military applications and there were so many spare parts in circulation, they didn't want to lose those military contracts, so it made sense to keep them as similar as possible. Same thing with G-Wagon, believe it or not, these things are used extensively overseas for military applications, and that's one of the reasons they've had very little variation, and then of course embraced by those people who wanted to be cool and be seen in a G-Wagon. This is an interesting one. Notice 2 doors only and a soft top. Just like the Defender, there are so many variants of these overseas that we don't get here in the US because here they're just looking for the Newport Beach Cruiser. Overseas there's so many different versions. This is one of them. Very, very cool to see.
You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever want to give me wings.
Here's something you don't see every day either. This is an S600, but it is a Maybach. Now, when Maybach was launched by Mercedes a few years ago, it was its own brand, separate from Mercedes itself, because they wanted to go after that very, very high-end Rolls-Royce market above where the Mercedes sort of finished off. There are a lot of cool things about this car. It was designed to be a passenger in the back, but some of the things were tintable glass. In other words, the sunroof, you could actually change the amount of tint on it because it was an LED or LCD designed sunroof, but they were a ton of money when they came out, but they're also one of the highest depreciating cars as well.
So if I play dead,
I was just talking about G-Wagons from Brabus. This is one of them. Doesn't this look a little bit different from that one we just looked at with the soft top? This is G-Wagon at the most extreme. Massive wheels, ton of carbon fiber. Look at the mirrors, this hood. This is the grille. Look at this beautiful, beautiful looking G-Wagon, but hey, a little bit different from the very humble looking one we just looked at just over there.
Solutions. I wish you loved me like I love you, it's stupid. When I'm alone with you I never feel lucid. I wish I wasn't struck by Cupid. I wish when I first saw you I knew this. When I'm with you I feel so useless. I feel diluted, my heart's been wounded. Silhouettes of you are like a taunt. Never really know just what you want. With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palm. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby, you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed.
That is it for another week at South OC Cars and Coffee. What an amazing turnout. Some crazy good cars. We want to do a big shout out to all of our sponsors, to Maguire's, Pulsar, PDM Brands, Next Level Auto Protection, Clubhouse Auto Storage. They're our newest sponsors, Carbontastic, Happy Jewelers and Bechstein Law. Thank you so much to those guys. We could not put on the show without them. Big thank you to all of our volunteers as well. If you want to become a volunteer, please hit us up either on our Instagram page, South OC Cars and Coffee merch, through our website or through Facebook DM. So you get to bring your car in early and you also get a free coffee and donuts thanks to the guys at Ruby's. So big thank you to Ruby's for doing that as well and also feeding the masses through the show. Big thank you to the Outlets of San Clemente for allowing us to be here and also the City of San Clemente for their support. That is it. Don't forget to like, follow and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you back here next week for another South OC Cars and Coffee.